한번 해보겠습니다. And welcome to LA Press Box once again, everybody. I'm glad you're here for another afternoon of Dodgers baseball, and a special welcome to Padres fans joining us today. If you're affected by a local TV blackout, you're away from home, or you're simply looking for another way to experience today's game, you found your live game companion. Here on LA Press Box, we'll follow every pitch with live 3D field tracking, as we always do, as well as real-time statistics, score updates, strategy, and conversation throughout the afternoon. Whether you're cheering for the Padres or the Dodgers, we're happy to have you with us. Today's the finale of this 4-game holiday weekend series at Dodger Stadium. And the Dodgers have already secured the series by winning the first 3 games. Last night, Yoshinobu Yamamoto reminded everybody, while he'll be representing the Dodgers in the All-Star game, the right-hander, who was the World Series MVP last season, dominated San Diego over 7 scoreless innings, striking out 10 while allowing just 3 hits in a very crisp 3-0 outing. Freddie Freeman stayed red hot with his 15th home run of the season, and Andy Pages added an RBI. And then the Dodgers bullpen finished off the shutout, including the very last inning with 3 straight strikeouts. And that's been a sight for sore eyes who are obsessing about Dodgers, if you're a Dodger fan, and looking for chinks in the armor. Middle relief, from my opinion, has been one of those chinks, but they've gotten better, at least against the Padres. For LA, it's been an impressive stretch of baseball. The Dodgers have won 10 of their last 12 games and have taken 7 of their 9 meetings with the Padres this season. The offense continues to produce from top to bottom now. The bottom third is not nearly the concern it was a month ago. And the starting rotation has found its rhythm, although there has been a little bit of struggle there, and we'll come back around to that the next time Roku Sasaki's on the mound. But tonight's a different proposition. The Padres, meanwhile, are searching for answers. San Diego enters today having lost 8 consecutive games, the longest losing streak in more than a decade. Yet the roster still features plenty of talent. They have Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, Jackson Merrill, and a number of other talents, including the person they call the Grim Reaper. And last night he came in to get some work, and Mason Miller still got roughed up. So I guess when it rains, it pours. But tonight we have Emmett Sheehan getting the start for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he continues to look to extend their streak, and San Diego counters with left-hander J.P. Sears, who'll try to quiet one of baseball's most productive lineups and really kind of leading offensively in baseball across almost every category. In fact, the Dodgers have the best record in baseball. They are up on the Milwaukee Brewers, at least as of this morning, for that record by 3.5 games. So we'll see whether the Dodgers can continue their balanced attack. Freddie Freeman, of course, has been swinging one of the hottest bats in baseball, and he's not somebody who you can peg to try to hit in one part of the field or go for a home run. I mean, he's a future Hall of Famer. That's all there is. And it seems like when he achieved the milestone of 2,500 hits, oh gosh, I guess it was about a month ago. That seemed like a long, long time ago, because he's added more and more to his total. Shohei Ohtani is expected back in the lineup after yesterday's scheduled rest, and I think he really needed that. He did not have the outing that he wanted, either at the plate and especially on the mound. He's definitely looked more human, and the most human he's looked all season on the mound was definitely his last outing. And so I trust Dave Roberts to figure out the rest cycle for him, because they had it lined up pretty well earlier in the season, and that made a difference for them. And as long as they just, stay on track and maintain their position both in the division and overall, the time that matters most is the playoffs, and we're still a long way off from that. So as always, we'll follow every pitch together with live 3D field animation, real-time stats, and a little bit of commentary. But before we get underway, we, as always, are going to take you to the lineups, which you can see right over here. So as far as it goes tonight, as we said before, Sears is the pitcher for the Padres. He has a record of 1-1 on the season and a really high ERA, almost 7, coming in at 6.97. Excuse me. Got a little bit of allergies today, so you might have to bear with me a little bit. Shouldn't be bad, though. He's got 9 Ks on the season and 5 walks, countered with the Dodgers' Emmett Sheehan, who has a 4-5 record, 5.05 ERA, 70 hits on him, but 81 Ks and only 22 walks on the season. You can see the leaders in offensive categories there. Manny Machado with 17 home runs in the home run category for the Padres. Shohei with 18 for the Dodgers, but there's a couple of other Dodgers that are not far behind. As far as the Padres lineup, they have the familiar one hitter, starting as always, Fernando Tatis Jr. In right field, followed by Jake Cronenworth, who's batting, as you can see, only 171. This is part of the criticism that Padres fans have leveled at management. Just letting Jake sit there and not trying to change up the lineup or put him in a different spot to try to spark a revival for him is something that a lot of Padres fans are not happy about. But he's the DH, followed by Machado at third base. In the cleanup, it's Gavin Sheets playing left field. Ty France is in the 5 spot in first base. Jackson Merrill, center field. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop. Song at second base, and Campusano behind the plate at catcher. So the Padres giving their starter the night off, probably well-deserved. He does a great job behind the plate. The Dodgers will lead off with Shohei Ohtani as the DH, Andy Pages second center field, Freddie Freeman third at first base, Mookie Betts cleaning up and really on a roll as of late, playing shortstop. Teoscar Hernandez, who hit that awesome grand slam the other day and flipped the entire game around on the Padres from a 3-0 deficit to a 4-3 victory. He'll be in left field. He'll be followed by Alex Call in right field, Miguel Rojas third base, Alex Freeland second base, and who is this? Alfonso, catcher. Okay, we'll see if that sticks. You see he has no stats. And I don't know if that's going to stand, but one of the things that's interesting is to see that, knowing that Dalton Rushing's been on a little bit of a roll offensively, finally, the last couple of games. And the backup behind him, Chucky Robinson, not a good hitter, but solid guy behind the plate. So maybe we'll hear more about that during the course of the game, but at this point, that's what's slated to happen. All right, guys, so this is once again the time to go ahead and get a snack and a drink as we get close to the first pitch in about 2 minutes. I'm going to, meanwhile, load up the box scores for you and the 3D imaging. And we'll be underway shortly. All right, everybody. First pitch is Sheehan to Tatis, and it's in there for a strike. You should be able shortly to see, yep, here we go, 3D view. As Sheehan throws another strike and starts Tatis 0-2. And check this shortly, but I have loaded the stats in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen so that you can see how each Padre and each Dodger are doing at the plate as the game unfolds. Next pitch is a ball, counts 1-2. Whoa. And guys, the first batter, Tatis, is up there, and there's all this jawing and yelling from. Can we show this on the 3D? I don't know if we can. Probably can't. The umpire is not dancing. He's talking to the Padres manager because they're jawing with the very first batter, complaining, yelling, I'm guessing insulting. And there's an ejection. I don't know if it's the Padres manager, if it was somebody else, and now the Padres manager is getting kicked out. At this point, somebody got ejected. Wild. I would not be surprised, honestly, if this is by design. There have been managers in baseball history that do this to try to provide a spark on their team. He can't do any worse at this point. There's a lot of people that are Padres fans that were calling for him to be fired yesterday. Sheehan's trying to stay loose on the mound, throwing some pitches while there's discussion back and forth. But looks like Craig Stammen, that manager, Craig Stammen, is at least one of the people that's been ejected. And now finally, after the ejection, we're back to work. And swung on a miss for strike 3 by Tatis. So that ejection didn't change anything for Tatis. We'll see if it does anything for the rest of the team. And the Padres start with a strikeout. That'll bring up Jake Cronenworth. And now the word's coming in that the infield coach, Ryan Goins, was the person that was ejected initially. And so then the manager went out and argued about that and got ejected. Now, to me, that's a terrible indication of control over your team and your culture. The fact that your manager couldn't control one of his coaches, and before the first at bat is over, that guy gets ejected. Then you get ejected because I guess you're trying to have his back, and you do it by going over the line. And what? So now you have 2 coaches that are missing for the entire game. Wow. Yeah, it could be the sign of the death throes for this iteration of the Padres. I mean, like I said, Padres fans deserve better, and a lot of them online have been calling to blow this thing up. They have a couple of all-stars, or at least guys that have all-star talent, that have not performed according to the contract that they're getting paid on. As Sheehan strikes out the second batter. And they're saying, blow it up. Get rid of the manager, trade some pieces, start over. Because this is the one professional sports team that we have in San Diego. We deserve better. And 100%, I agree. 100%. So Manny Machado comes up with 2 outs, 2 strikeouts to be precise, and he starts with a swing and a miss. Next one misses low for ball 1. 1-1. Two and one. Slider and four-seam fastball are the 2 primary pitches that Sheehan likes to rely on. Next pitch is fouled to right. Sorry, fly to right. It is in bounds. The catch easily made for 3. And so the Padres make no noise outside of the dugout. And the Dodgers due to come up. So we already start this game with fireworks, but not the kind you'd associate with this 250th anniversary of the country. Instead, it's Padres coaches getting kicked out of the game before the first batter is completed with his at-bat. So Shohei Ohtani coming up and gets a nice standing ovation from Dodgers fans because today is his 32nd birthday. And the first pitch is a ball. Next pitch in there for a strike. 1-1 to Ohtani, who leads the Dodgers in home runs. Next pitch misses for a ball. 2-1. Next pitch misses well outside for a ball. Slider at 82 miles an hour. One pitch fouled off for strike two. And now the count is full to Ohtani. Oh, and looks at strike three. Yeah, it's interesting with Ohtani. As good as he is at the plate, very different batter from somebody like Freddie Freeman. You can get Ohtani looking at strike three, and you can fool him sometimes. You can get him swinging at pitches, especially inside pitches that are balls, as he tries to unload all of his power and hit a home run potentially, and opening his hips and pulling his head. Guy like Freddie Freeman, I mean, he just battles. It is unusual to see him look at strike three. As Pages swings and grounds it to third base, and play easily made for the second out of the inning. And speaking of Freddie, here comes Freddie Freeman. And it's just kind of a way of life at Dodger Stadium now that they chant, Freddie, Freddie. First pitch, blasted to left field. But Gavin Sheets, who's in left field today, playing a little bit unusual position, was able to sprint back and make the catch at the warning track, and that's 3 away for the first inning. And at the end of one, it's 0 for the Padres and 0 for the Dodgers. All right, so we start with the next inning, and Sheehan back on the mound after a really outstanding start. Struck out the first two batters, and got Machado on an easy fly ball made for the third out of the inning in right field. Now Sheets is up, and he flies it to right. There's almost a collision out there, but the Dodgers are able to communicate last second, and no harm, no foul for the first out of the inning. And the first pitch to Ty France brushes him off, does not make contact because he limbos out of there. So, dramatic first ball to Ty France, and the next pitch on the way from Sheehan, swung on and missed for strike one, 1-1. One away in the 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed, strike two. It was a changeup at 88 miles an hour. The 1-2 pitch fouled off, and the count remains 1-2. Sheehan up to his 20th pitch at this point. And throws, and it's flied high to right center field. Pages makes the catch, and two away in the inning. So that'll bring up Jackson Merrill. And Sheehan trying to go 6 up and 6 down. First pitch in there for a strike. Bottom edge of the strike zone. Next one, fouled off. Strike two. Sheehan trying to continue a strong start. And swung on, foul, deep to right. Alex calls underneath it and makes the play easily. So 6 up and 6 down for Sheehan. However, the score is still 0-0. So Sears set to come back out to the mound. And the Dodgers looking to make a little bit of noise, although their noise has not come, especially against the Padres, until after the Padres usually get kind of an early lead. It's almost, I know it's not by design, and I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to not gloat, but it's almost as an outsider looking like, well, they want to give him some hope, and then they just snatch it away from him. And you could say the last, oh gosh, 3 to 4 weeks, Mookie Betts has been a pretty good hope snatcher. So he comes up to the cleanup position, and the first pitch misses for a ball. Oh, caught the edge of the strike zone. Gosh, by the smallest fraction, and the umpire actually called it a strike. Next pitch, definitely in as a strike, and it's hit pretty softly to shortstop, and an easy play made to first for the first out of the inning. So that'll bring up Teoscar Hernandez, the home run hero from not long ago against these very Padres. And first pitch is outside for ball one. And it's really great to have him back in the lineup, not just because of the power that he has, but of course just his presence. He's been great in the clutch the last couple of seasons. He's loved by Dodgers fans. Contact with the pitcher's left hamstring, high up. And he says, I'm fine and I'm going to continue. So that's going to bring up Alex Call, who's lost a little bit of playing time lately. And it's understandable because he hasn't performed particularly well. I mean, he's fine in the field, but just really struggles at the plate. He has one home run on the season, 16 RBIs. First pitch is a ball, and the second one misses out. Let this refresh in 2D, and maybe when I go to 3D, it'll behave. Thanks for joining us on LA Press Box. We're a new channel, and ramping up and starting with baseball this summer. And then when we get to the fall, we'll kind of double time it and continue to track Dodgers and their opponents. But we'll roll into football, definitely. We'll be tracking the Los Angeles Rams and UCLA football. And then when the Lakers roll around, we'll work them into the schedule too. Although LA Press Box is for LA sports fans to come together, and whether you're in LA or not, to connect with other sports fans from Los Angeles, of Los Angeles sports teams. This is also an effort to help people that often get blacked out when they want to see their team play and they can't go to the game. This is one of the things that, to me, kind of motivated me to get this going. The challenge to be able to follow your favorite team, which is usually the team of the city where you live. And so the blackouts, having to figure out and then maybe get a subscription to whatever platform the game is on, just make it way too hard to be able to find your team. We do that in order to relieve you of that challenge. In perfect example today, this game's on NBC Peacock, but the last couple of games were on MLB TV. Last week, when the Dodgers were in town to play the Padres at Petco, one of those games you had to have an Apple TV subscription to be able to see the game. So back to work goes Emmett Sheehan, who's been really good so far. I'm not going to get too far ahead of ourselves by complimenting him because it's early in the game. But he has retired 6 for 6, and the next opponent is Xander Bogaerts. Starts him with a count of 1-1. Looks like the 3D's behaving now. Fouled off for strike 2. 1-2. And another foul. Count remains the same. Bogaerts has an on-base percentage of .667 this year. And the pitch on the way, yet another foul. Pretty good crowd on a Sunday at Dodger Stadium as they show the aerial field. And the next pitch, well outside. So 2-2 to Bogaerts. Sheehan's done a pretty good job this year. However, he does rank near the top of Major League Baseball starters in terms of the percentage of pitches that he throws out of the strike zone, and just threw another one. So now the count's 3-2. So full count pitch from Sheehan on the way. And swung on and missed for strike 3. Another strikeout. So right now, Sheehan is just shutting down the Padres. However, it's still early. That's going to bring up the 8-hitter, Song. Song, the lefty with slightly open stance. And as is customary with lefties, you can see the Dodgers are shifted over, although not as much as normally. Usually you can see, if you can see Mookie Betts over here at shortstop, he's much closer to second base. Ooh. Song swings at a pitch outside and pulls his body and looks foolish. Suddenly it's 0-2. 0-2 pitch on the way, fouled off. And the count remains the same as Song walks away. And regroups. Sheehan does the same thing, grabs a rosin bag, gets back to work on the rubber. One away, and the 0-2 pitch on the way. Held off again. Dalton looks like he's just trying to make contact. Not even really fouls it again. That was like more than a check swing, less than a full swing. But right on cue, what I was talking about. Looks like he's just trying to make contact and not even swinging completely through the ball. That is not the sign of a confident hitter. And something you might actually expect with somebody that's hitting in the 8 spot. So count remains 0-2. Fouled up high. The right side, and Freddie Freeman reaches over the railing and makes the catch. So 2 away. Good job by Freddie. Took like a little seat on the cushion there that separates the field from the fans, so they got a nice up close look at Freddie as he made the catch, had a quick seat, and then got the ball back in play. So 2 away, and the first pitch to Campusano, who's playing catcher tonight, coming back after an injury. Looks at the first pitch for a ball. And next pitch misses outside. Ball 2, 2-0. Gia now up to 40 pitches. But so far, making the Padres lineup look pretty toothless, as the next pitch is fouled into the ground. It just dribbles off to the side. So now, 2-1 to Campusano. And I can't say I really know this player. I don't follow the Padres religiously. But I'm cool with Duran not playing catcher for them. I don't know if they're giving him a rest or this is the guy that would normally be the starter, because they did mention that he's back from a rehab assignment. Next pitch. Check swing. Looks like he went. But they say he didn't. Boy, wish I had a replay ability on this, because it sure looks like he went far enough around for that to be a strike. But regardless, the count goes to 2-2. Ooh, and the next pitch, almost wild, almost goes to the backstop. Now the count is full. Next pitch, well outside and bounces in the dirt. Sheehan looks a little bit rushed to me. He looks like he's hurrying to throw the next pitch, and just a little bit more so right after he throws a ball. Like he's trying to get back there and make up for the last pitch. But that's not always a very good strategy. So walks Campusano with 2 outs. And now the Padres are back at the top of the lineup with Fernando Tatis Jr. First pitch swung on and missed. Strike 1. Curveball that hit outside. And Tatis chased a ball, but turned it into a strike. See if Campusano's got any kind of a lead. No, not really much, which is normally what you'd see as the next pitch is fouled off from a catcher. Catchers don't usually run very well, and that's one reason that they're the catchers, because catchers don't have to run when they play defense. Although Dalton Rushing can run pretty well when he plays for the Dodgers. Next pitch on the way, and fouled to the left side. Count remains 0-2. Padres trying to make some kind of noise here early. although it was Sheehan's responsibility that created the runner. And the next pitch, well low, another bouncer in the dirt. As the Dodgers catcher looks to the dugout just to try to read the body language and maybe make sure that the comm system is operating properly. Counts 1 and 2. And Sheehan steps off the mound briefly. Took a little glance over at first base. I don't know if he's concerned about Campusano running. He doesn't see much of a lead at this point, as you can see. And the pitch, slide high and shallow right, but Freeland's under it and he makes the catch. So 3 away, and the Dodgers are coming up again as the next time around in the batting order awaits. So Emmett Sheehan comes back to the mound and hoping to continue very strong start. He did walk one last inning, but had a few strikeouts as well. And he's about to get to the meat of the Padres lineup. However, as we were saying earlier on, I mean they have a batter at almost the halfway point of the season whose average is less than 200 at this point. And Padres fans, rightfully so, are not happy with the direction of the Padres. They've lost 8 in a row. They're, I think, 14 games behind the Dodgers in the National League West standings. I mean, you could argue that it's over. And now what they're playing for is a wild card position in the playoffs, but they're a couple of games back at this point, I think. Yet they have one of the biggest payrolls in baseball. They're paying hundreds and hundreds of $1 million to just a few players. So we're going to start this bat around with Jake Cronenworth, who's 0 for 1, and looks at the first pitch for a ball, 1-0. Next pitch fouled off to the left, and it looks like it's going to be out of play. And it is. It's behind the dugout for strike 1. So 1-1. So she ends up to 51 pitches. And the next one on the way looks like it's just outside for a ball. And now the count is actually 1-2. Just caught the edge. And Cronenworth could have challenged that, chose not to. And I think it's wise because this is not a critical juncture in the game. So 1-2 count. And the next pitch swung on and missed for strike 3. That is Emmett Sheehan's 4th strikeout. And he's making some of these Padres look silly so far. So next up is Manny Machado, who's one of the people that Padres fans are the most angry at this point. And I get that. Because although he's hired in part to hit with power and hit home runs, as he looks at the first pitch for a ball, 1-0, it seems like every time he's up, that's all he's trying to do is swing for the fences. And he's got a respectable home run total, but nothing great. And his batting average is below 200. 1-1 to Machado. And the next pitch misses for ball 2. I mean, the Dodgers have more than one person in their batting order that's hitting at least 250 with roughly the same number of home runs as Machado. But Machado seems to always try to lift the ball for the dramatic home runs. And then when he hits a home run, even though his total isn't huge, his body language is terrible, if you ask me. If you're the real deal, you don't need to front on people as the next pitch just barely catches the edge of the strike zone. And Manny tried to walk off like it was ball four. And now he shows that scowl and shakes his head. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Uh, I don't know what the word is about and what the policy is in the Padres clubhouse about, when we are allowed to challenge. Based on the fact that two coaches got kicked out, I don't think there is a strong policy. They just kind of let the hitters do what they want to do. And so he doesn't challenge and looks at the next pitch, which is just a hair further outside, and that's ball four. So now Emmett Sheehan has 2 walks in the game. So that'll bring up Gavin Sheets, who's 0 for 1. And the first pitch to Sheets is a changeup, 87 miles an hour for a strike, 0-1. Let's see if Manny has much of a lead. I don't think he's known for being particularly fast. He's not slow. I think he's got some good quickness, especially for a big man. But not much of a lead there. And the next pitch is swung on a miss for strike 2. 0-2. So it looks like the Padres are 4.5 games back in the wild card race. So still plenty of time to get back in the mix. As Sheets fouls off the next pitch, counts 0-2. They might need that break to kind of just reset and gather themselves. Next pitch on the way, and it misses low for a ball, 1-2. Sheehan now at 63 pitches on this game. Next one on the way. And it's hit in a difficult spot to field just over Mookie Betts' head in left field for a hit. So drops in, and with 1 out after the base hit from Gavin Sheets, now the Padres have runners on first and second. So that'll bring up Ty France, who does have the power to hit a home run. But looks at the first pitch, well outside for a ball. And so now Sheehan with a runner in scoring position in a little bit of a pinch. Next pitch, swung on and missed. France really opened up on that one. He had stars in his eyes. But the pitch was high, and he was well underneath it. So now with only 1 out, count is 1-1. Next pitch outside, and fouled back for strike 2. They take that last base hit from Ty France away. And, really, Sheehan's been untouchable. He's made the Padres look silly throughout most of their lineup tonight. The 1-2 pitch on the way. And swung on, fouled really high into the outfield. And Andy Pages makes the grab and throws it to third base quickly. And there's no way Machado was going to think about trying to tag up there and go to third. two away with two on. And now Jackson Merrill comes up. And the Padres face the possibility of a recurring nightmare, which is getting some runners on base and not being able to score them against the Dodgers. First pitch misses way high for a ball. Sheehan's all over the place. And maybe that's part of his special sauce. Because he'll have some pitches that are just wicked in the strike zone, and he'll miss terribly. And it's like you can't get comfortable against him. Next pitch is at least as bad. It's a lower, but it's way further outside. Now it's 2-0. I think that can be a little bit disconcerting. Even if you're not conscious of it, if you've ever been hit by a pitch, which pretty much everybody has if you play baseball long enough, somewhere in the back of your mind, you go, gosh, he can miss that poorly inside too. But swung on and hit to right, and it's through for a base hit, and the Padres have their first run of the game. So Machado scores, and once again, they have the lead on the Dodgers. But a nice job hitting it pretty hard on the ground in the hole between first and second. And so he does his job. And at the same time, with two outs, now the Padres have runners at first and third. So Sheehan not out of it at this point. First pitch misses high, slightly inside for ball one. And you can see Xander like bow back. This is exactly what I'm talking about. His head kind of snapped back like, whoa, man, I don't want to get hit by this guy. I don't know where the ball is going to go. He obviously does not have good control today. And so if the Padres can just be a little more patient with him, they can let him implode. Next pitch is swung on and fouled back. So now the count's 1-1. Not much of a lead at first. And the next pitch also fouled. And so now with two away, there's two strikes. Xander Bogaerts has 1,890 hits in his career. But, you know, one of many Padres hitters who are underperforming this year. But he has a chance to do something about that here with a runner at third. And the pitch misses just a little bit low. And the count now is 2-2. And Alfonso, the catcher, playing his first game in the major leagues today, challenges. And the challenge is unsuccessful. But this is an important, I'd say, I don't know if it's critical. It's a little early to say this, but that was an important part of the game. I probably wouldn't challenge if I'm that catcher until the bases are loaded and we're working on a batter that we're trying to prevent from walking, driving in a run. Excuse me. So now the count's 3-2. And the pitch in there for strike three. But Xander Bogaerts challenges, and it wasn't even close. The entire ball was in the strike zone. Wow. While he was challenging, the Dodgers were also confident. They didn't even hesitate. They just walked off the field. The only person that was still there was Xander Bogaerts, waiting to see if his challenge was successful. But it wasn't, and so now we're going to change sides. But there was damage, and the Padres were able to drive in the first run of the game. But this is also a pattern that has been repeating itself, where they get an early lead at some point, and then the Dodgers just snatch their hope away. So if you're a Dodgers fan, of course, you're hoping for that. If you're a Padres fan, you're hoping that Groundhog Day finally ends on a Sunday. All right, another at bat for the Dodgers, and another one for Andy Pages as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Pages is 0 for 1 today and looks at the first pitch for a ball. Second one's in there for a strike. And next pitch, well high for a ball, counts 2-1. So Sears doing a good job against the Dodgers to this point. Although I think part of the nightmare for Padres fans has been right around the fourth and fifth inning. That's when things start to slip away. And if not, there's usually an explosion from the Dodgers in the seventh. So 2-2 count to Pages. And the pitch outside counts full now. And the organ player working hard as always at Dodger Stadium. Gorgeous day in Los Angeles. And the next pitch is outside for a walk. So the Dodgers start with the lead batter on. And the person you probably most want to see, Freddie Freeman, come up when you have any kind of deficit. And time again, this guy is the one that snatches their hope more than any other Dodgers hitter. Looks at the first pitch for a ball inside. Did not go. Wasn't even really check swing. So 1-0 to Freeman. And looks at the next pitch for a ball. Although it was a check swing, and third base umpire said yes, he did go. So the count's actually 1-1. Andy Pages can run, and he's got his foot kind of at the edge of the grass. Does not take off, and Freeman looks at the next pitch for a ball, 2-1. It did not look like he went on that check swing, but that's part of the gray area in baseball. 2-1 pitch. Swung on and hit to second base. This could be a double play. They get one at second base and the stretch and the out at first. So Freddie Freeman, in unusual fashion, hits into a double play. And a good job by San Diego. And so with 2 away, that'll bring up the cleanup batter, Mookie Betts. And Betts is 0 for 1. Next pitch in there for a strike. And the next one misses low for a ball, and the count's 1-1. So the 1-1 pitch on the way, and catches the edge, the outside edge of the strike zone. Now the count's 1-2 with 2 away. Sears trying to close the door in this inning, but misses with the next pitch. 2-2. So Mookie taking his hacks here and trying to make some noise with 2-2. And gets underneath it, flies to right, and Tatis looking straight into the sun. Shields his eyes from the sun with his offhand, but makes the catch, and that's 3 away. And at the end of 4, not only does LA not have any runs, they don't have any hits. And the score is Padres 1, Dodgers 0. So Sheehan warming up to go to the top of the fifth. Been a little bit wild and a little bit unpredictable. That's generally worked to his advantage. The Padres hoping to add a little more space between themselves and the Dodgers with only a one-run lead. So now the 8-hitter, Song, is up and fouls the first pitch back. Seems to be what he does best. It's hitting fouls. And the next pitch misses for a ball, counts 1-1. Fully don't expect Sheehan to suddenly have really good control this inning. And he's now up to 79 pitches. It'll be interesting to see, assuming the pattern remains. Next pitch is line foul down the first base side. If the pattern remains, whether the Dodgers are going to get a reliever up in this inning. Counts 1-2. And the next pitch, inside and a little low for ball 2. 2-2 to Song. Next up, swung on and fouled high. And it looks like Mookie Betts is going to make the catch at shortstop. Didn't have to move much. And one away. So next up is Camposano playing catcher and in the 9th position. And first pitch, big swing and a miss. Strike 1. And next pitch on the way, and it's in there for a strike on the inside part of the strike zone. Now it counts 0-2. Dodgers would really like to see Sheehan make quick work of this inning. And the next pitch misses. Dodgers look to the first base side, and the umpire says, no, he didn't go. And so the check swing is only a ball, and the count's 1-2. Next pitch, fouled back. Next pitch outside. Nice job by the catcher getting to the ball, although it wasn't crucial. Nobody on base. Count now 2-2. Next pitch, fouled into the ground and out. Beyond play to the third base side. And the next pitch misses, and that makes the count full, 3-2. And the next one misses for ball 4. So Sheehan puts a batter on with only 1 out. And so now the Padres are going to be at the top of the order. And a couple of the Dodgers batters that normally create some noise are not in the batting lineup. Although, of course, they could come off the bench as pinch hitters if that's what Dave Roberts wants. It almost feels like we're back to full strength. In fact, we almost are. We still have a couple of arms that are injured. And the most well-known example of a player whose bat we could use, and definitely even more so his presence behind the plate, is Will Smith. But we're getting close. We're getting close. No reports on when Will Smith is going to return from his neck injury. But just the last couple of weeks, it seems like Dave Roberts finally has the problem you would expect him to have, which is enough depth where you want to rotate people and you can use that as a premise for getting some people much needed rest. You have the All-Star game on the horizon, but you don't have Kyle Tucker right now in today's lineup. You don't have Max Muncy in today's lineup. You don't have Tommy Edman. And so a third of your batting order that you would probably normally count on, especially as we get closer to the playoffs, is not playing today. So it's a little taller order for the Dodgers to be able to make up for the really small deficit they have right now. But I mean, if you're a backup player, you got to get the job done, and you definitely welcome your opportunities. Sheehan now has a full count on Fernando Tatis Jr., who's got 1 out on the Padres and a runner on. Tatis is 0-2 so far today. This is another example of why, if I was a Padres fan, I'd be upset. Tatis Jr. has more errors this year than he has home runs. Next pitch, contact made, and it's into right field. And Tatis Jr. is going for 2 as the runner at first goes from first to third. And he's got a double. So good for you, Padres fans. And I've seen this recently for him. He didn't take off right away after he made contact, but once he saw it in a space that could be just a little bit tough to get to, he put on the burners and was thinking too early on. I've seen him do this a couple of times to the Dodgers in the last week or so. So now it's time for the dance at the mound. But the Dodgers aren't dancing very much. And they are going to take him out. I'm glad that they're going to take him out. You don't always see them take out a pitcher with, of course, only having given up 1 run. And at a point in the game where, you're within striking distance and you're in the 5th, but he's into the 90 pitch range. And normally you'd send out the pitching coach and have, 1 huddle first before the manager comes out and replaces him. But wisely done, in my opinion. The Dodgers don't wait for a calamity. So we'll see who they bring in relief and who's going to have the challenge to get them out of this bind right here. with 2 runners in scoring position. And early signs point to Jack Dreyer. So the Padres are already going to pinch hit, which is a little bit of a strange time. I mean, it's only the 5th inning. We're about the halfway point. He does have 5 home runs, 19 RBI. But I mean, the Padres don't have their infield coach or their manager because they both got kicked out the very first batter of the game. So who knows how the decision-making process is supposed to go when that goes down. If you're true professionals, you have a protocol in place, but I can't speak for the Padres. And the early count to Andujar is 1-1. And you can see that the infield for the Dodgers is shifted over. Next pitch misses inside for a ball. Second baseman is only a few feet from second base. And second baseman and shortstop are playing deep. Next pitch is fouled down the third base side, out of play. So runners second and third, and the Padres threatening with only 1 out. Next pitch on the way. And fouled off barely. And so Andujar stays alive. Looked like a strikeout, but he got just a tiny piece of it and it went into the catcher's mitt. Swung on and flied high behind Mookie Betts. He backs up and looks to throw home. And it's not deep enough, so he doesn't make a throw home because there was not a threat at third base tagging trying to come home. Just not quite deep enough. So far so good from Jack Dreyer. And based on the depth, Campusano wasn't even really tagging up. Kind of got off the base, about 10 feet. And the Dodgers, immediately after that, intentionally walk Manny Machado. So he's on first, and the bases are loaded now for Gavin Sheets. First pitch is a strike. And so is the second one. Swung on and missed. And with bases loaded and 2 outs, the Dodgers are 1 strike away from averting some real danger here in the 5th. Next pitch fouled off. So lefty on lefty here. 2-strike pitch and fouled again. Padres threatening. And inside being worked. Next pitch is low, just outside the strike zone. I might have clipped it, but regardless, swung on and fouled back. And the count remains the same. So a mix of sliders and four-seam fastballs right now. See if Dreyer changes it up. I mean, I think he'd throw it well outside the strike zone. He does not. Contact is made, and it's hit to third, but the throw is in time to first. And the Dodgers avoid some serious danger from the Padres. And that'll be 3 with the score remaining 1-0. All right, so we go to the bottom of the 5th, and Teo Hernandez comes up, trying to generate some offense here. And Sears is still on the mound. Thirty-year-old Sears is really had really good control today. And unlike Sheehan, who was up to the 90s the last time to the mound, Sears is only in the 50s. Counts 1-2 early to Teo. And swings and misses for strike 3. So only the third strikeout of the day for Sears, but very efficient nonetheless. So that'll bring up Alex Call. Call batting in the 6th position today. And the first pitch is a strike. And next pitch misses inside for a ball. 1-1. And next pitch also misses. So now it's 2-1 to Call. And they don't show this on the 3D, but the shadows have definitely covered home plate. Padres challenging. And the call is overturned. So the count's 2-2. And the next pitch is fouled off with a check swing to the first base side. So the count's 2-2, and like I said before, can't really see the ball as it transitions from the light to the dark, and Call looks at strike 3 to kind of prove the point. And people have talked about this for several years. Because, the pitcher's looking west, and that's where the home side, of course, or at least, the highest part of the stands are behind home plate. And as the sun starts to set, it's a really difficult time this time of day. Seeing the ball with light on it as it leaves the pitcher's hand, because the pitcher's for the moment pitching in daylight, pitching in sunlight, and then disappear into the shadows as it makes its way to home plate. And the early count to Rojas is 0-2. So 2 away, and batters trying to battle through this part of the game till the sun sets over all of the infield. And one of the things I love about Rojas is just his body language. Whenever there's a difficulty, he just seems to get more positive. He doesn't shake his head, he nods his head. Fouls off another to stay alive. And he's just a player that, maintains calm and confidence, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too down, and he delivers when it's needed. It's one of the things that makes him clutch. Fouls another. And nobody's Freddie Freeman, but he reminds me a little bit in that way of Freddie Freeman, especially delivering when the Dodgers need it. Keeps taking his hacks and fouls another off. This one, the Padres thought they'd have a play on it. Almost got there and was just out of play. Tatis could not quite get there. Next pitch, swung on and missed outside. That is not characteristic for. Oh, did he make contact on that? Oh my gosh. That was remarkable because that was definitely a ball. He looked silly, but he made contact. He's still alive. So the next pitch, inside, and it misses for a ball. Could that be the first on the long march to a walk? We don't know. We'll find out shortly. So the 1-2 pitch on the way from Sears. And you guessed it, fouled off. Wow, there's got to be at least 10 pitches with this one at bat. And that one was pretty much in the same spot that Tatis couldn't get to last time. So count remains 1-2. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then a few fouled off. It's at least 10 pitches. Next one on the way. And hit up the middle for a base hit. Miguel Rojas. What a champion. What a champion. Drives it right up the middle. Enough pace to get a base hit. And does the patented Dodger dance. Man, what a professional. What a professional. So after that battle, huddle on the mound. And the question becomes, when is Sears out of gas? He does not look out of gas. It was an outstanding at bat. But the Dodgers have a little bit of life here. In the bottom of the fifth, we've got a runner on with 2 outs. And now Freeland coming up, who's 0 for 1, batting in the 8th spot. So Sears throws to first, keep Rojas honest. And comes to home first, throwing a ball to start this count at 1-0. And next pitch misses outside. This is again. So Miguel Rojas on first. 2 outs and 2-1 is the count. And he goes. Swung on and fouled. They might have had the hit and run there on. And Sears throws again to first after knowing that Rojas was on the run last time. But 2 down, 2 strikes. That's what runners do. Especially if it's full count. They're going all out on that situation. And swung on a miss for strike 3. So the Dodgers not able to do anything with Miguel Rojas being on. And at the end of 5, the score is still Padres 1 and Dodgers 0. So we're going to the top of the 6th. And the Dodgers still have Jack Dreyer on, who did a nice job getting them out of a bind last inning and keeping them within striking distance. And the Padres are going to counter with Ty France, who looks at the first pitch, high for ball 1. And next pitch, swung on and missed. Strike 1. Dodgers going for a 4-game sweep. And really almost 3 different chapters in the story to this point between the Dodgers and the Padres. The first time they faced each other, when the Dodgers went down to Petco, the Padres, for a day or two, had the lead in the NL West. And then I actually went to this game. That night, the Dodgers won and never looked back. And the Padres did struggle after that series. Nothing like they did more recently, and especially this last week. They've lost 8 straight at this point, as France goes down swinging. But before the Padres headed north to see the Dodgers, there was another series at Petco. And the Padres were starting to, what they thought, catch some life as Jackson Merrill comes up to bat. They had, I think, won 4 straight, including sweeping the Braves, who were battling with the Dodgers for the best overall record in the league, fouled off by Merrill. So, kind of feeling pretty good. Although I have some pretty diehard Padres fans that say they were overperforming. I've heard a couple of professionals say the same thing. And there's no question they've come back down to earth, but you could argue they kind of crashed in a way. They're just trying to stop the spiral. Counts 1-2 to Merrill as he fouls one off. Counts 1-2 to Merrill. And the pitch inside catches the inside of the strike zone and fouled off. Tied up Merrill. Next pitch also fouled off. And Dreyer's doing a good job of moving the ball around in the strike zone and keeping Merrill guessing. So 1 away and 2-2 is the count. Next pitch on the way and fouled once again along the first base side. Next pitch is fouled back. So this is becoming one of the longer at bats of the game today. Next pitch on the way. And Merrill looks at strike 3. So another strikeout for Dreyer. Nice fastball. Gets him looking. After a bunch of off-speed and curve pitches. So well timed by Dreyer. And that's going to bring up the 7-hitter, Xander Bogaerts, who's 0 for 2 today. Dreyer now up to 26 pitches. And swings at the first pitch, grounded to third base, and picked up and thrown to first, no problem by Rojas. So, pretty quick turnaround there. And we're going to the bottom of the 6th and the top of the order. And Matsui is warming up. Coming in relief. Looks like the lefty is going to face a lefty. And so Alonso remains in. Feel good story of persistence after being in the minor leagues for 10 years and gets to catch in his debut and bat ninth. And he swings and drives it deep to right center. It's carrying, but it is caught near the warning track at right center for the first out of the inning. And that will bring up the lefty on lefty matchup. Matsui against Otani. And the first pitch is high for a ball, 1-0. Next pitch, well inside. Otani bends back. It doesn't jump out of the box. Also well high. A little grin back at the mound at Matsui. And so now the count's 2-0. Actually, I got to see that better. He just flashed his teeth and then closed them. So silly. Two Japanese countrymen. And the next pitch misses low for a ball. So just like that, it's 3-0. Matsui not off to a great start in relief. And Otani looks at ball four. That was the closest pitch, but it was still decidedly a ball. So the Dodgers have the lead-off runner on. And it'll take a minute for Otani to take off all of his protective gear and give it to the bat boy. Last pitch, clearly a ball, but it was challenged. And just like that, now the Padres have no more challenges this game. It could bite them later. But now, Andy Pages comes up and he looks at strike one. Boy, it seems like a long time ago that Shohei Otani stole 50 bases. They just don't send him like that anymore. Although it was a year where he wasn't pitching. And he did take yesterday off. So he should be somewhat fresh-legged. But boy, do you send him here? With the backup catcher in, who does not I don't know. He has the arm of Duran. Now is now 2-1 to Andy Pages. And Matsui has thrown 6 balls out of 7 pitches so far. And the pitch misses low for a ball. 3-1. Tawny. Oh, pretty good lead. And next pitch misses. Ball 4. Matsui's body language when he throws looks a little bit out of control, like his head whips. Maybe that's his normal delivery. I haven't studied him closely, but the pitching coach is already coming out to the mound. mean, he's thrown 9 pitches, and only one of them has been a strike. This is about that time, though. 6th and 7th innings are the prime time for the Dodgers to break Padre hearts. So after only 2 batters in relief, throwing almost straight balls the entire time, starts Freddie Freeman with the ball, and they have another reliever up in the pen getting loose. Exactly who the Dodger fans want to be up right now, with only 1 out and runners on first and second. And of course, the chance predictably start up for Freddie. Next pitch, in there for a strike. So the count's 1-1 to Freddie Freeman. And the pitch, 1-1 pitch is swung on and flied, but doesn't have enough juice to get out of here. And in left center, the center fielder makes the play, and it's 2 away. But boy, the fans were definitely hoping. They're trying to send it out with a little bit of crowd noise. They are finally animated because the Dodgers only now have given them something to get hyped about. And that's probably going to be it for Matsui. Even though he's struggling, they wanted to have a lefty on a lefty, and it worked. Although you can see him breathe a sigh of relief, and he's glad that one didn't go out. But at the same time, I think he's glad that that he's going to get pulled before more damage can be done, because he's definitely not pitching well. So we'll see who the Padres bring in next with 2 outs and runners on first and second. So it looks like the Padres are going to bring in Rodriguez. And the Dodgers are going to counter with Mookie Betts. Good time for Mookie to finally make some noise today. First pitch to Mookie. Misses low for a ball. Rodriguez has been in 33 games this year. and only has an ERA of 2. Counts 1-1 now. And the next pitch on the way, swung on and missed for strike 2, 1-2. That's with the Dodger in scoring position. And we're marching towards the last third of this game. Dodgers trying to close what has been a 1-run gap for most of the game. Next pitch misses. So the count's 2-2. 2 outs. 2 runners on. Pitch misses outside. Ball 3, and now it's full count, and the runners will be going. And the full count pitch swung on and hit deep to left field. The runners have a bunch of momentum coming around the bases, but it's not hit deep enough. Doesn't even get to the warning track, and that'll be 3 away. So Dodgers once again kept scoreless. And at the end of 6, score is 1-0. So it looks like the Dodgers are going to bring in Hurt right now. And this is also part of the middle relievers' jobs. It's not just to keep a lead, but it's to keep the team within striking distance. And it's only 1 run. Now, of course, the Dodgers do have about 1/3 of their normal hitting lineup out of the lineup. And the first pitch catches the top of the strike zone. Count starts 0-1. Song up. The foul ball hitter of the day, who's 0 for 2 and batting in the 8th position. That was clear body language from Song. Looking back at the umpire, count is 1-1. And the next pitch swung on and fouled off. That's what Song does. Well out of play on the right field side. Crazy to see this pitch clock go so quickly, but I think it's been a welcome improvement to the game. Next pitch misses just low for ball 2, 2-2. And now counts full 3-2. So this is the last thing that the Dodgers want Hurt to do is come in and walk the first batter. Should just go after this guy. Make him make contact. No outs. And a full count pitch on the way. And swung on and hit out of play along the first base side. And the next pitch misses high and outside for ball 4. So Hurt walks the first batter. And give a little bit of credit to Song for making him work and outweighting him to draw the walk. So that'll bring up the catcher, Campusano. And Song going right away and steals second base. Not a bad throw down, but with a need for more insurance, Padres know this when they face the Dodgers. Right away, they send this guy. And, it's been a nice day and a good story to see the catcher for the Dodgers get his first start ever, to play his first time ever with family members who had passed. But that'll be a little bit of a nightmare on the dream coming true after 10 years of languishing in the minors. And now the next pitch is swung on, and it's hit to center field. And I thought maybe Song was going to come home, but he was held at third base. He's got excellent speed. This is one of the things that the Padres like about him. But it wasn't hit quite hard enough or in a more difficult spot that he could take advantage of. Because Pages has a cannon for an arm. What the third base coach didn't see or couldn't take advantage of in time was, excuse me, my voice is breaking a little bit. I was talking a lot last night. Was the fact that Pages dropped the ball. So if he had sent him, he would have definitely scored. Now the next hitter chops one to short, and Mookie Betts runs up on it and makes the play to first, the only place he could, but another run comes home for the Padres. Tatis was sprinting down first, and there is a replay right now. They're showing the replay, and it looks like Tatis was safe. I mean, tie goes to the runner. And when they're able to break it down frame by frame, as they're doing right now, it looks like he probably beat the throw by 2 inches. Still have not officially confirmed the call yet. Now they confirm it, and LA loses the challenge. So still no outs, and Hurt on the mound. And there's runners at first and third. Throws a strike here. And next pitch, swung on a miss for a strike, so now 0-2. Boy, and Duhar was really unloading on that one, but he swung underneath it. Fastball got right by him. And the next pitch, fouled back. So it's 0-2. The Dodgers need an out right here. And Andujar swings and sends it pretty deep, left center. But the catch is made for the first out of the inning. Oh, about 10 feet short of the warning track. So that'll bring up Manny Machado, who's 0 for 1. For all the money he gets paid, Padres fans would love to see him do some damage here. One thing you can count on is he'll be swinging for the fences and trying to hit a home run. Count 0-2 now to Machado. And swings and hits it deep to center. And Pages going back, and it's over the wall for a home run. A 3-run shot from Manny Machado. And this is what he's always trying to do. And Padres fans will definitely take it. And still only 1 out. And now Gavin Sheets is up next. And all of this is on Hurt. This is why Hurt makes me nervous. He's done this before, where he's come in with a lead and lead for the other team. He's done the same thing when the Dodgers have a lead, and he gives up the bag. And Dave Roberts does not look happy in the dugout. And he's getting somebody up throwing in the dugout, or the bullpen, to try to probably replace Hurt before the end of the inning, depending on what he does at this point. As the Dodgers collect another out. That's going to bring up Ty France. France hitting in the 5th spot is 0-3 tonight. Fouls one out of play, and it's 1-1. No, actually, it curls back in, and Alfonso makes the play. So the Dodgers finally end what is a nightmare inning, thanks almost entirely to the relief pitching of Hurt, who I would be surprised if he came back in next inning. I'm pretty sure the Dodgers are going to replace him, because the Dodgers are still able to come back in this game, although they don't have all of their best hitters in the lineup. So as we hit the seventh inning stretch, it is now the Padres 5 and the Dodgers 0. So some breathing room for not only the Padres, but the relief pitcher Rodriguez. The Dodgers always dangerous, never more dangerous than in the seventh inning. And Teoscar Hernandez coming up, who's always dangerous. Hit a grand slam earlier this week against the Padres. First pitch to Teo in there for a strike, 0-1. Next pitch, outside, ball 1. 1-1 to Teo. And the next pitch looks to miss barely outside. In fact, it was called a strike, and Teoscar is going to challenge. And that was actually a successful challenge. And the count now goes to 2-1 to Teoscar. Swung on, fouled back. And so now there's a full count to Hernandez. Good to see him back and healthy, and so far so good. He seemed to have played just a little more consistently after his return from injury compared to Tommy Edman. And the next pitch misses for ball 4. And Dodgers with a little bit of life. Got to start somewhere here. Now, to be fair, Teo had a hamstring pull, which you can very easily re-injure, especially if you come back too quickly from your rehab assignment. Alex call up now. Shows bunt, but doesn't go. Pitch misses for a ball. And the next pitch does not show a bunt and misses high and inside for a ball. So now the count's 2-0. But in the case of Tommy Edman, when the World Series is over, he had to have surgery on his ankle. So unlike Teo, who started the season with the Dodgers and had to take some time away before he came back, Tommy Edman, this has been a multi-month process. Next pitch, also a ball. You just want to make sure that the ankle's stable and understand that this is a really, really long season. So Paul in a great position after 3 straight balls from Rodriguez, but looks at the next pitch for a strike. Next pitch, hit to the right, but out of play. And so now it's a full count. No outs. Teoscar Hernandez, who's a pretty big man, but very fit, as fit as I'd seen him since came back from his rehab assignment. And he can run. I mean, if you couldn't run, you wouldn't play in the outfield. Morejon is loosening in the bullpen for the Padres. Full count, no outs. The pitch to call, and swings and misses, strike 3. And if you follow the Dodgers with any regularity like I do, this is why you're not particularly optimistic about our chances to come back today. Because guys like Call are in the lineup right now. Just not a particularly good batter. He's not particularly good. Freeland's not particularly good. But here's one of our options. And because we don't have our best Dodgers in the starting lineup, means they can come off the bench. And at this point, looks like the Dodgers are about to bring one in to I think this is the 7th spot. And you'll see exactly who that is after this pitching change from the Padres. So the Padres bring in Morejon, who's pitched pretty well against the Dodgers. I mean, better than most of the Padres pitching staff. And the Dodgers counter with pinch hitter Kyle Tucker, who normally starts in right field and was struggling during the second quarter of this season, but lately seems to have broken out of his slump. Starts with a swing and a miss for strike 1. Adrian Morejon is pitching at a 3.45 ERA clip at this point in the season. Next pitch misses for a ball, 1-1. Next pitch on the way. Swung on a miss by Tucker. 1-2. Trying to get some kind of traction offensively. With 1 out, and Teo getting a modest lead at first. At this point in the game, outs are more valuable than bases stolen. Next pitch is inside, check swing. He did not go, ball 2. 99-mile-an-hour fastball. This inning has been the spot that the Dodgers have come back time and time again throughout the season. And the next pitch is grounded to right, and it gets past the first baseman. And Tucker moves Teo along. Looked like the first baseman had a chance at this. See the replay. Nope. He dove early and he was well short. Just poorly played by the first baseman. And this is definitely one of the things that the Padres don't do well. They don't play good defense. He just completely misjudged this ball off the bat. And he needed to take at least 2 more steps before he dove and tried to make that play. So now with 1 out, there's runners at first and second. And I hate to say it, I'm not trying to be negative Nelly. But Alex Freeland's up, and I had mentioned earlier, he's just not particularly good at the plate. And we're at the bottom of the lineup, which means that we're not necessarily going to get to see Shohei Ohtani this inning. If Freeland cannot hit into a double play, there is some hope that we'll see Ohtani, as the early count is 1-1 to Freeland. Check that, sorry, 2-0. But if you're the Padres, you've lived this before. This is a little bit of Groundhog Day. You got a lead, solid one, and Freeland swings and hits a base hit to center field. And now the Dodgers finally on the board as Teo comes all the way around. And way to go, Alex. Way to go, Freeland. Thank you so much. But as I was saying, the Padres have seen this movie before. Good contact, and actually swung at a ball that was a little low, but got down there, made good contact on the bat, and Teo was waved around instantly. I was a little bit surprised because I thought that center field could get there and at least throw it home and try to, excuse me, make a play at the plate, but Teo was in there standing, didn't even have to slide. So the Dodgers are on the board. And not only is it 5-1, there's only 1 out, and there's 2 runners on, and you look up, and now you see Shohei Ohtani on deck. And exactly the guy I'd love to see them bring in, coming in now. Tommy Edman, another clutch guy. It is no problem for him to come off the bench and hit in this situation. Ooh, speaking of hit, did he get hit? I guess it was just well inside. Man. I'd almost like him to just stand there and take it. Of course, I don't want him to get hurt, but I don't think it would have hit him in a spot that would have injured him. Next pitch swung on a miss for a strike. So 1-1 to Edman. Ooh, he was really trying to unload on that one. But he was a little bit late on the inside pitch, which may have missed if he had looked at it. But you have to make your own luck in this situation. 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed again inside. And Edman now has been jammed up on 2 straight inside pitches. See if Morejon goes with the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. And he does. And gets Edman swinging. All right, so 2 away for Shohei. It's a good job by the pitcher, but he's not out of the weeds yet. Shohei is 0 for 2 tonight. And love to see Godzilla go deep on this one and completely change the complexity of the game. First pitch catches the outside of the strike zone. And it's 0-1 to Shohei. Shohei at bat on his 32nd birthday. Count is 1-1 now to Shohei Ohtani. Shohei had the day off yesterday to rest. And well earned and probably well needed. Next pitch misses low for ball 2, 2-1. Probably the biggest challenge generally, if you're Dave Roberts, is how to manage Shohei Ohtani's cycle of rest. 2-1 pitch on the way to Shohei Ohtani and outside for ball 3, 3-1. Dodgers trying to get a rally here. 2 away, runners at first and second. Finally scored their first run of the game on a base hit, bringing Teoscar Hernandez home from second base. So Morejon looks at both of the leads, delivers, and it's in there for a strike, and the tension builds. Now the count is full with 2 outs. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runners on, and the Dodgers down by 4. Apologize for my voice cracking. I can neither confirm nor deny that I was out late last night. Shohei swings, and he hits it to left field. It drops in for a base hit. 1 run comes home for the Dodgers, and the second runner's going to hold up at third. So Shohei delivers. He makes a contact on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. And not the blast that, of course, everybody wants to see if you're a Dodgers fan, but keeps him in business and scores another run. So 5-2. And if you're a Padre, you're getting tight. Unless you're the manager or the infield coach, because you got kicked out during the first at-bat of the game. Andy Pages up, swings at the first pitch, and misses. You didn't catch that. I mean, it was kind of comical. They're complaining about the pitches, what's being called a strike, when Fernando Tatis Jr. is barely getting the game underway. And so the home plate umpire throws out the infield coach. Next pitch low and misses. And so then the manager comes out and starts arguing. He gets kicked out of the game. So not even one at bat is closed. And suddenly the Padres seem like they might be imploding, although sometimes managers will do that on purpose to try to give their team a spark. And that, of course, is something that the Padres need after an 8-game losing streak. But it does not look like it was planned. Because if it was planned, the manager probably would have just done it from the start, and he would have been the only person kicked out. Next pitch swung on and missed. Strike 3. So Pages goes down swinging. 3 straight strikes. We don't get a chance to see Freddie Freeman up with runners on base. But the Dodgers score 2 runs. So at the end of 7, it is now the Padres 5 and the Dodgers 2. All right, so the Dodgers with a new pitcher coming in, Gervase, and trying to keep the lead at 3 so that they can climb back into it the last 2 innings. They are down to their last 6 outs. Well, actually, I think it's pronounced Gervais. Looked it up, and I think that's the correct pronunciation. And the early count, Jackson Merrill is 1-1. And I'm guessing that the Padres are preparing to bring in Mason Miller, who they call the Grim Reaper, their designated closer. Excuse me. And they have like a whole big production when he comes in at home at Petco. I mean, they've got flame. It makes it look like he's climbing out of the depths of hell to take the field and close the game out. Based on the video on the scoreboard. And it's actually really cool. But he came in last night and the Dodgers touched him up. He looked like anything but the Grim Reaper. And an early strikeout to start this at bat for the Padres. So Gervais strikes out Merrill and does his job so far after one batter. Next up is Xander Bogaerts. And swings at the first pitch, hits it to third base, long throw to first, and looks like it's in time for the second out of the inning. Good job by Max Muncy. So seeing him in the game is actually really good. That means he's going to be inserted into the lineup somewhere for the next bat around. So I would not be surprised as Song comes up and bunts. And charged by Muncy, but can't get there. Nice job by Song. Put it in a good place. And using his speed to leg it out. Didn't even have a chance to try to throw it. But Muncy, I'm guessing, will be up shortly after Freddie Freeman. He might not be next in the lineup. It'll probably just be Mookie Betts. But I wouldn't be surprised if he was in the 5 spot. And we'll see when the Dodgers get up. But hopefully no more damage by the Padres in this inning. And Song steals again. And not even close. It almost looked like it was a sidearm throw. And it hopped down to second base. And that was Dalton rushing. Song can run, man. Got in there with a head first slide. At first I thought, because they hadn't notified us, that Dalton Rushing came in as the catcher to replace the one who made his major league debut today. His throw was better than Dalton Rushing's. And he might not be completely warm, but there's no excuse for that if that's the case. He's got to throw better down to second. So 2 away and a runner in scoring position who can definitely score with a base hit from second base. Count 2-1 to Campusano, fouls it back. So now it's 2-2. Base is tall. He looks like he's about 6'5", at least 6'4". Haven't seen him much this year, though. Pronounced his name initially the way I did because I hadn't seen him before. But Campusano holding tough, trying to bring home Song. Fernando Tatis Jr. on deck with 2 outs. And the pitch Swung on and driven deep to left field. The catch is made for the third out, and Gervais does his job pretty much. And so, hopefully, if you're a Dodger fan like me, more fireworks ahead as we're about to go to the bottom of the eighth. Padres 5, Dodgers 2. See if we can check out who's on the mound for the Padres. Give us a name tag, 3D. Well, it's showing Morejon, and it should be him. But you never know until the last second. What we do know is Freddie Freeman's going to start the inning for the Dodgers. And that's exactly who you want to see. So the Dodgers trying to absolutely crush the Padres, who have an 8-game losing streak. Their manager got kicked out before the first at bat of the game was complete, along with their infield coach. And I don't think it was by design. Although it would fit, because there is a sense of desperation, I think, around the Padres. Not just on the team, but with their fans, who are great fans. First pitch to Freeman, swung on a miss for a strike, 0-1. Good pitch. Lefty on lefty. And as you can see, the infield is playing really tight. I haven't seen this, where both the second baseman, I don't know if you guys can see this, I'll try to zoom in a little bit. Shortstop and second base, first base and third base are all playing middle of the field right here, which is where Freddie will often hit it, and he does. That was an interesting play, trying to figure out who was going to be responsible for fielding that ground ball. But they do it nonetheless, and one away. So that's going to bring up Mookie Betts. First pitch outside for a ball. No spectacular defensive plays tonight from Mookie. He hasn't been called into action in that way. But it's been nice to see him cross over behind second base and make plays there. Second pitch also misses. And he's been fabulous on defense since the Dodgers transitioned him from right field down to shortstop. Right now, though, he's trying to do some damage at the plate, which he's been doing since he climbed out of a hole earlier this season where his batting average was below 200. Now he might be close to 250. And takes the third pitch for a ball. Wonder if he'll take this one and just make Morejon throw a strike. And he does. And just catches the upper inside corner of the strike zone. Now the count's 3-1. And the next pitch does the same. Catches the edge of the strike zone, but more center here. And upper. And so now with one away, it's full count on Mookie Betts. And the next pitch misses. I don't think it hit him. Might have hit him. But either way, he's going to take the base. It looks like he was able to cha-cha slide away from it. So Mookie on board with one out. And Teoscar Hernandez up next. I'm hoping Mookie Betts is on deck. If you're new to LA Press Box, thanks for joining. Let us know who you're rooting for, where you're connecting with us from. And hopefully it does you some good if you're curious and you're joining the stream late, to be able to use the overlays in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen that highlight who's up and what he's done so far earlier this evening. You should also be able to see what they've done at the plate in the previous innings, but I made it a transparency so you can see as much of the field as possible. So last pitch was swung on and missed by Teo, and he wishes he had that one back, because well out of the strike zone, and the count is 0-2. Next pitch on the way, and misses inside and gets past the catcher. But they don't send the runner. I don't know why Mookie didn't advance to second. I mean, it didn't go all the way to the backstop, but it got past him at least 10 feet. See on the replay, which is well inside. He makes contact with his glove, and then it rolls, 2/3 of the way on the AstroTurf, on the turf, to the backstop. And the next pitch doinks in the ground, and the adventure continues for the catcher. And the Dodgers have to be going, Padres, just Padre for us, please. Do something goofy and unexpected that should be taken for granted on the defensive side. But Mookie still doesn't advance. And now the count is 2-2. Swung on and flied high, but nowhere that's promising. And so the catch made in shallow right field. So now 2 away. And the Dodgers are down to their final 4 outs. Let's see if Max Muncy's going to come up. So short huddle on the mound. I don't know, do you call it a huddle in baseball? I think so. I guess that works. I know I'm a football guy at heart, even though I played baseball. I mean, football much longer. I'm going to call it a huddle. You can tell me in the chat if I'm wrong. And yes, Max Muncy is up. And the first pitch to Muncy is in there for a strike. Looks at it. It's 0-1. Next pitch, swung on, missed for strike 2. Something looks enticing to these Dodger batters, those high fastballs. I get that. They get there quick, and they're at eye level. It's almost like when you go shopping at the supermarket, and the companies that pay the most money are the ones that are able to put their product at eye level, because that's what's going to catch your attention first. And right on cue, what Max Muncy does is swing at the next one that's eye level. Both of those pitches out of the strike zone, but too tempting, especially for a guy that's trying to help the Dodgers climb into it, and he strikes out. And so the Dodgers get a runner on, but not able to do anything with it. And at the end of 8, it's the Padres 5 and the Dodgers 2. So the Dodgers are going to stick with Gervais, at least for the moment. Probably not quite close enough to bring in Tanner Scott. Plus, Tanner Scott, their designated closer, has already thrown twice in this series. And Fernando Tatis Jr. will be the first batter this inning. Dodgers just trying to keep it within striking distance right now. That is not the umpire throwing down. Should be Dalton rushing. And what's interesting is how Dave Roberts was resting so many of his starters, and now they're suddenly back in the game. They're inserted. So Tommy Edman, who I would consider a starter, or at least starter qualities, definitely proved that the last couple of seasons. Crucial in the World Series and playoffs, as the first pitch misses for a ball. Edman's back in. So is Max Muncy. So is Dalton rushing. And swung on and hit on the ground, and it's through for a base hit between third and short. So Tatis is in, and he's had a good day at the plate. Just a little bit out of reach, and it actually hit the ground right at the point where Max Muncy was playing, and it bounced under his glove. That'll bring in Andujar, who's 0 for 2 today. I would not be surprised if Tatis tried to steal. Not necessary at this point, but you've lived this this nightmare of losing leads to Dodgers. Pitch is well inside for a ball. Could have hit Andujar if he didn't bend back. Now, of course, when it comes to a pitch like that, you got to try to get out of the way. Very few guys today stand in there like Barry Bonds and some of the old school guys. And there goes Tatis, and he steals. And the throw is behind from rushing. And he got a good jump even after the throw from Gervais to first. I wonder how they practice sliding and maintaining contact. Next pitch is fouled out of play along the left field side. Sliding and making, not just making contact, whether you go feet first or hands first, but maintaining contact. Like, how do you practice that? Because there's so much speed and force with these professional athletes that hit second base when they do that, that's probably the biggest challenge for them. Once the hand inevitably leaves second base, how do you maintain contact with your foot, or vice versa? After the foot slides past, because you're going feet first, the traditional way, how do you maintain contact with your hand? And they're still worried about Tatis. He's in their head right now. So Andujar trying to bring him home now because he's in scoring position, and swings at a very high fastball and misses for strike 3. Gervais did a nice job just blowing that one by him. But that brings up Manny Machado, who's already hit 1 home run today. He sent Andy Pages into the fence in center field. Oh, and the pitch gets by Dalton rushing. Oh, gosh dang it. I mean, it was well inside, but he has to make that catch. See the replay. It was kind of lackadaisical, and he was leaning away from it. So it gets off of his glove, goes to the backstop, and now Tatis Jr. advances to third. They do call it a wild pitch, but that's on rushing, if you ask me. Next pitch also misses. So now it's count of 2-1. Machado looking to try to add to his home run earlier, which really is the most significant difference in this game. It was a 3-run shot. But to their credit, the Dodgers didn't lie down. And after it was 5-0, they scored 2 runs. Rushing stops the next pitch from going to the backstop. It bounces in front of home plate. That's tough. But Gervais walks, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not the Dodgers are going to replace him. Dave Roberts has got body language where he's leaning well back. And looks like Rushing and Gervais having a little bit of dramatic communication. Rushing shaking his head pretty vigorously and trying maybe to ensure that the comm system is operating properly. So 1 out, runners at the corners. The first pitch is a ball to Gavin Sheets. Sheets is 1 for 4 tonight. And the next pitch looks like it also misses. Let's check the lead on first. Pretty marginal at this point, but the Padres have sent that runner when there's runners at first and third before, and they send them. You know what? Why not? You still only have a 3-run lead, only because you've lost more to the Dodgers more than once. And Dalton Rushing is not playing particularly well. Did not come into this game, in my opinion, locked in and ready to go. And the pitch is grounded to third base. Muncy comes up and gets it and throws to first for the out. Good job by Muncy, not just charging the ball, but taking a little glance over at third base to see whether Tatis was trying to score. He wasn't, and made the play he needed to. So that's going to bring up Ty France with 2 outs. First pitch from Gervais catches the strike zone. Ty France is 0 for 4 tonight. And the next pitch misses outside, ball 1. Padres with 2 runners in scoring position, trying to leave no stone unturned and no doubt that they were the better team tonight. And not get swept by the Dodgers after losing the first 3 games of this 4-game series. Next pitch clips the strike zone. It misses. Now the count's 2-1. Not quite the rivalry that I think they thought it was going to be when they booked this as a primetime game. France swings and pops it up high to shallow right center, and the catch made. And so the Dodgers do not have to worry about the lead getting extended, and they are down to their last 3 outs. So no better time than the present to try to climb back into it. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of the best closers in baseball, Mason Miller, aka the Grim Reaper, comes in to try to close this thing out right now for the Padres. And predictably, Mason Miller This is up from hell. Goes straight to the rubber. At least that's how it looks. And he probably wouldn't mind the metaphor. But he did pitch yesterday against the Dodgers, and the Dodgers scored on him. In fact, I think what happened last night has not happened to him this year. He not only gave up an earned run, he had a walk in the same inning. Thanks for joining us tonight on LA Press Box. If you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe and help us get this channel off the ground. We'll be here throughout the summer and beyond doing Dodgers games. And then as the fall rolls around, we'll be doing my primary passion, football. Spent a lot of my career actually as a player and a coach, but that'll come soon enough. And then even later in the year, when the Lakers fire up, we'll be doing those games too. But hopefully what we're able to do for people, besides bring together fans that are rooting for different LA sports teams, is give whoever the home team is a chance to experience the game on some level if the game is blacked out and they can't go to it. So Kyle Tucker's up, who has been better as of late, the last week, almost 2 weeks, and one of a few Dodger starters that were inserted late into this game. Last time he struck out. So early count is 1-1 to Tucker. Pitch on the way from Mason Miller, and inside, got there fast. Tucker swings and misses. Completely opened his body. His right foot, I mean, you should have been able to see it there. Almost out of the batter's box and his head pulled. Next pitch, swung on and missed. Strike 3. Wow. So Mason Miller just mowed down Kyle Tucker. That was fast. Mason Miller has probably been stewing since last night's subpar outing for him. And that last pitch was 103 miles an hour. And now Freeland comes up. The Dodgers are down on their last 2 outs. And, bless him for seeing this first pitch at 101 miles an hour. But Freeland's overmatched. I'm not saying he can't get a hit. I mean, gosh, you got to tip your cap to somebody who plays well. And whether I've, competed as a player or as a coach, high school, college, I've always been one of those people that can say in the middle of the game while I'm competing, good job to the other team. And Mason Miller is just throwing fireballs right now. Count 1-1. And the next pitch looked at by Freeland for strike 2. That one was 102 miles an hour. I mean, you can hear the pop. You can hear the pop as the ball hits the glove. I've been that guy. I've been a catcher having to catch hard fastballs. Next one misses low for a ball. And Freeland's just hoping that Miller just is a little bit out of control and he walks him because I don't think he's going to catch up to one of these fastballs. Oh, he barely got a piece of that one. Woo. But when I was a catcher, oh my gosh, it's super painful. It hits you right on this bone. Like, so your pointer finger, there's that bone that sticks out. And you could, with a pitcher like this, feel bruising for a week. And that's a lot of times where the ball hits the glove the most often and it wears down the padding. And so, ironically, the place that you need the most padding, where it's going to be the most painful, is the one where you don't have it. So I feel for this catcher. But you know what? Credit to Freeland. He's still alive. And the next pitch misses outside. So he's battling in his own overmatched way. And the count's full with one out. So will he walk Freeland? Freeland swings and lifts it to left. And it stays in bounds, and the left fielder is able to come up and make that catch without much trouble. So now there's two away, and the Dodgers are down to their last out. And Dalton Rushing coming up. Struck out fast last time. First pitch, high for a ball. Counts 1-0. San Diego trying to get this last one so that they are not swept by the Dodgers. And the next pitch, right on the border. Called for a strike, 1-1. Next pitch, fouled off, barely caught up to it and got a piece. And now the count is 1-2. The thing about somebody who throws fireballs like this is if you make good contact, you definitely have a chance to send it over the fence for a home run. But the Dodgers down to their last strike of the game. And Rushing stays alive with another foul of the same area. So Rushing, the last hope for the Dodgers to stay alive, facing an all-star. And hits it. And it's flied really high, but not deep. It was a four-seam fastball, 102 miles an hour. And the catch made in the outfield. And that'll be it for this game. So the Padres finally get a win against the Dodgers. Nice start from their starting pitcher, and a good job by some of their highly paid players doing what they're paid to do, including Machado hitting a 3-run home run, Fernando Tatis Jr. getting on base more than once and stealing base and getting home, scoring a run on the base paths. And so, good job to the Padres. It'll be interesting what the conversation will be like after this at the press conference for their manager about not only him getting tossed from the game before the very first at-bat of this game from Tatis Jr. was completed, but also their infield defensive coach. But that's all we have for today for LA Press Box, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Final score.